I grew up in a house where allergies weren't real. At least, not according to my mother. I know that sounds insane, especially in today's world where food labels scream may contain peanuts and schools send home 3-page memos if someone so much as sneezes near a cupcake. But in my house, allergic reactions were filed under things people make up because they want attention. "You're just being dramatic," my mother would always say. I remember the first time it happened. I was 7, maybe 8. We had this neighbor, a kid named Brian. He carried around an EpiPen like it was his wallet. Once, at a birthday party, someone brought peanut butter cookies and he completely freaked out. His mom scooped him up, apologized to everyone, and whisked him home like the cookies were a bomb about to go off. I remember turning to my mother, wide-eyed, because I thought, wow, that was scary. Was he really about to die? She rolled her eyes. Some parents love to make their kids fragile. Peanut butter cookies don't kill people. Hysteria does. I was too little to argue. And anyway, in my house, my mom's word was law. It wasn't just food allergies. Anything that resembled an allergic reaction was dismissed. Rash on my arms? You didn't wash right. Sneezing fits in spring? You're being dramatic, it's just a little pollen. Trouble breathing if the cat sat on my chest? You're fine. It's in your head. So I grew up with this weird, ingrained suspicion of the very concept of allergies. Like it was some mass delusion adults were forcing onto kids. Things didn't get truly complicated until middle school. I was 12 the day it happened. We were at this school picnic, and they had hot dogs, hamburgers, the usual summer spread, and brownies. I had 2 because, well, they were brownies. 10 minutes later, my throat felt weird. Like I was swallowing sand. Then my lips tingled. I told my mom. She was helping at one of the tables. "Something feels wrong," I croaked. "Stop," she snapped. "You're fine. You just ate too fast. Drink water." I tried, but the water didn't help. It felt like my tongue was twice its normal size, rubbing against the roof of my mouth like a swollen sponge. "Mom," I whispered, panicked, "I can't breathe." She gave me the look. That look that could silence me better than duct tape. "Don't embarrass me." I can still remember the way my chest tightened as I tried to take shallow breaths, my brain screaming at me to do something while my mother's voice cut through. "You're overreacting. Calm down." Some teacher must have noticed, because suddenly I was in a nurse's office, lying on a cot with ice packs around my neck. The nurse kept asking if I'd eaten anything unusual. My mom stood there, arms crossed. "She gets like this," my mom said in that dismissive tone adults use when they don't want to be challenged. "It's anxiety." They didn't call 911. They just let me lie there for an hour until the tightness eased. I survived, obviously. But the message was loud and clear. Whatever happened to me, it wasn't allergies. It was something weak and shameful. That pattern repeated over and over. Every spring I'd wheeze through gym class. Every family dinner I'd get itchy or flushed. My mom would sigh, "You're embarrassing yourself. Just stop focusing on it." By the time I hit high school, I didn't even trust my own body anymore. Like, picture this, you're in a classroom, your eyes are watering, your skin is crawling with little hives, and everyone else is just fine. You don't want to raise your hand and be that kid, the one who makes a scene. So you tell yourself it's in your head. You learn to swallow discomfort and paint over it like it never happened. It made me cautious, though. I started avoiding certain foods. Not openly, never openly, because I didn't want my mom to notice and scold me, but quietly. I'd accidentally leave the shrimp on my plate. I'd steer clear of peanut butter sandwiches when trading snacks at lunch. I became a ninja at dodging things that made my body freak out, even if I wasn't allowed to admit that's what was happening. And then came sophomore year. The night everything snapped. We had a family friend's wedding to go to. It was one of those big reception hall deals with more food than any human could possibly eat. I piled my plate with pasta, chicken, and here's the kicker, a salad I later found out had been sprinkled with crushed walnuts. I didn't notice at first. I was busy laughing with my cousins, pretending to be normal. Then, halfway through my plate, My throat seized up like someone had cinched a belt around my windpipe. I froze. My heart was pounding so fast it drowned out the music. My upper lip tingled, then my whole face burned. I could barely pull in air. I excused myself and stumbled toward the bathroom, trying not to cry. In the mirror, my face was swelling. My eyes looked like they were sinking into puffed-up pillows. My chest wheezed every time I forced air in. For the first time, I thought, oh my God, I might actually die. I staggered back out, grabbing at my mom's arm. I can't breathe, I gasped. Mom, please. Her face angry, embarrassed, rolling her eyes burned into me forever. You're not doing this here. Not tonight. Stop making a scene. I was literally suffocating, and she was worried about appearances. Someone else noticed. Some guest I didn't even know shouted, she's having an allergic reaction, and suddenly waiters and strangers were swarming. Someone yelled to call an ambulance. My mom kept insisting it was unnecessary, that I did this sometimes. I don't remember much after that. Black spots, dizziness, the terrifying feeling of my own lungs trying and failing to pull in air. Then nothing. I woke up in the ER, and in my arm, my throat raw but open. A nurse explained I'd had an anaphylactic reaction and they'd had to give me epinephrine. Anaphylactic. A word my mother had spent my entire childhood convincing me wasn't real. When the doctor asked about my allergy history, my mom tried to answer for me. She doesn't have allergies, she said, dismissively. I couldn't even look at her. For the first time, I interrupted, yes. I do. My voice was hoarse, but firm. The look on her face wasn't guilt. It was fury. When we got home, she didn't comfort me. She scolded me. You embarrassed me in front of everyone. People will think you are weak now. Do you want to be one of those kids with medical bracelets and special treatment? Do you want to be defined by this? But here's the thing, after you almost die, embarrassment doesn't matter. Breathing does. That night, I stayed awake on my phone, Googling everything. Anaphylaxis, food allergies, nut proteins, cross-contamination. A whole world I'd been blind to opened up in front of me. I realized my body hadn't been lying to me all those years. My mother had. The betrayal was so sharp it made me nauseous. She wasn't just wrong. She'd gambled with my life because she hated the idea of weakness. I started pushing back after that. The next day at school, I told the nurse everything. She helped me contact a doctor directly, who referred me to an allergist. Tests confirmed what my body had been screaming all along: peanuts, tree nuts, shellfish. Severe reactions. They gave me my first EpiPen. Just holding it felt like armor. Telling my mom was a war. She tried to confiscate it at first, swearing it was making me dependent. I hid it in my backpack. I told my teachers. My friends. I made the world around me know, because I couldn't trust the one person who was supposed to protect me. It wasn't easy. I felt torn in half. Part of me still craved her approval, still wanted her to pet my head and say, I'm proud of you. But another part of me, the part that remembered gasping for air on a wedding hall floor, knew I couldn't silence my body anymore. The weirdest part? I had to relearn how to trust myself. Do you know how hard that is? To spend years believing your panic, your hives, your wheezing were made up, then to suddenly accept they were the most real thing about you? I second-guessed myself constantly. If I sneezed, was it allergies or just a cold? If my throat tickled, was I dying or imagining it? It's like living with two voices in your head, your body quietly whispering truth, and your mother's voice yelling over it. I'm 17 now, and I don't want pity. But I do want honesty. The truth is, my mother made me grow up doubting my own survival instincts. She made me feel like my needs were shameful. And that messes with you in ways I'm still untangling. Allergies are real. They're not weakness, not hysteria, not in your head. They are your immune system wired differently. They can kill you if ignored. And I almost became proof of that. I don't know if my relationship with my mom will ever be normal. I still love her. That's the messed up part. But I don't trust her the way I used to. She thinks I've been brainwashed by doctors and the internet. I think she's been brainwashed by shame. What I do know is this: my EpiPen is always on me. My friends know how to use it. My teachers have emergency plans. For the first time in my life, I feel like I've got a safety net that isn't woven out of denial. And every time I hold that injector in my hand, I remind myself of something that took me way too long to learn. My body isn't lying. I just wish it hadn't taken almost dying to believe it.